Boy, Nicole Gibbs had a nice run at Indian Wells last year, beating Madison Keys along the way to a round of 16 finish, and she got to the third round of the Australian Open back in January before facing Serena Williams. Time now for My Tennis Life. Nicole Gibbs and Sam Groff, we're following them around. They talk about travel.
My tennis life is travel, which means never getting to be here at my home in Venice.
My tennis life is basically travel on the road. I'm on the road 40 weeks a year. I think coming from Australia sometimes makes that tough because it's not a short trip home. It's not a short trip anywhere from Australia. So for me, I live out of a suitcase.
Your body is always like kind of not knowing where it is, not knowing what time zone it's in.
I'm very good at booking last minute tickets. Obviously tennis, you could be out on Monday, you could be out on Sunday, or if the big events, you could be there for a second week. So you get very good at booking last minute flights.
Oftentimes where I stay is dictated by price. I'm traveling generally at least with a coach, if not my coach and my dad. So oftentimes we'll use Airbnb to book cheaper accommodation options.
Sometimes you're in nice hotel rooms and sometimes you're in a Holiday Inn that's maybe a bit run down in a place that's not as nice. I remember going to Algeria, a bit of a desert country in Africa, and they shut the water off between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. every day. So if you flush the toilet once, that was it for the day, and it wasn't happening again.
I have had some travel nightmares. One time I got awful food poisoning in Surprise, Arizona, and that was a surprise.
My tennis life is fun, You get to see the world, you get to experience different cultures, different bars, different restaurants.
Oftentimes I'll opt for Italian, occasionally some Indian food, although maybe not the night before a match. My boyfriend insisted that I learn to like sushi, so now I'm a huge fan of sushi as well.
Yeah, thanks. I'm good.
Welcome to Venice Beach.
I know. We have a lot of cool experiences when we're traveling. We've been up the Eiffel Tower, going to an NBA game and sitting courtside.
This year alone, I got to see the Great Wall of China, go to the Silk Market.
These sorts of things, which are a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a lot of people, or maybe never, we sort of, as tennis players, get to experience a lot.
So the more I can force myself to kind of get out of the hotel room and do some exciting cultural things on days off, the better for my sanity, but also for my stories years to come.
It's interesting listening to them talk, and especially Sam Groff says he's on the road 40 weeks a year. Is that about right? Was that what you were doing?
No.
Or is it just because he's from Australia?
From Australia, it definitely makes it tougher. I'd say closer to 30 for me.
Yeah, and I think also sometimes the top players have that advantage where they don't mind spending extra money to go home. Where sometimes for those players on either the Challenger Tour or lower in the rankings, they just want to keep it going and not have to buy new airline tickets. And but everyone, if you want to be a tennis player, you got to be able to roll with the. You got to be able to roll with the punches with travel.
Yes.
Whether it's canceled flights or lost bags or getting in late or sleeping on planes.
Yeah, I remember I had to sleep on a plane. We had to go down for a medical emergency, and I slept through the entire thing. We landed coming from Paris, we had to land in London.
Your medical emergency,
it was not mine, but they're wheeling someone off in a stretcher, and I mean, it's going to make me sound somewhat unfeeling, but I went right back to sleep because I was just the way you have to. You have to sleep whenever you can on the road.
Yeah, you also have to be prepared to practice. I remember losing my bags once, and I didn't have
As a player or coach?
As a player, early in my career. But then the next day you don't have clothes and you don't have your equipment to practice. So then most players always take their racket bags on flights, and they have enough rackets to get them through a practice, one match outfit, or your tennis shoes and stuff. So if the rest of your bags don't come, at least you can go out there and practice and get ready for the tournament still.
Biggest travel fear is what? Is it lost bags? Is it missed flight? What's the biggest travel fear for a tennis player?
Yeah, I think if you don't have your bags, I mean, like she said, you're always checking your bags. So I think it's the connection, not making a connection and being stuck somewhere where you can't get there and you can't get there in time.
Yeah, I don't think 20 years ago it was that hard to change flights, and now it just seems like it's impossible. So I would imagine if I was playing in today's age, I would be so stressed on, are there going to be seats if I lose? What if I win? Where it didn't seem like in the 90s, you're like, okay, I lost. You could get on another flight where traveling today, it's much more expensive to change flights, and so Sam was saying he has to book a lot of last-minute flights, and so making sure that you get to the next tournament in time and stuff like that.
And then if you're at a certain level, you're not going to fly business or first either, right? You're gonna-
Exactly.
That's the perk.
You're gonna
When
be
you-
in
No
the
middle
back.
seat. You got to fight hard for the exit
yeah,
row.
yeah.
Did you? I could see you on the phone negotiating.
Yeah, especially for Sam Groth. He's not a little guy, so
Exactly.
he needs to be in the window or in the aisle so he can stretch his legs out a little bit more. Middle seats for him are not going to be too good.
I remember Kevin Anderson's wife explained that she would sit, back in cattle class because he's a big, tall guy. They wanted to save the money to make sure he was.
Yeah,
That's what my husband would do. I'm like, you're crazy. He's like, no, I'm in the back. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my
Wow.
goodness.
I remember
Yeah, that's a nice call.
Eunice Elanawa used to do that because he had 4 kids, and so instead
Oh,
of
my
paying
God.
for the wife and 4 kids to all fly business, he would sit up front, and that's quite a woman to be back in the back with 4 kids.
Sticking the kids in the overhead
She's a
compartment.
saint. Yeah.
That works well. I agree.
All right, we hope you're enjoying our year-long My Tennis Life with Sam Groth and Nicole Gibbs.